Good evening. I know you don't really want to hear from me, so I will be very brief. My name is David Booth, and I am a professor in the religion department at St. Olaf College, and it's my privilege to be the moderator this evening. Together with you, I'm looking forward to what I expect will be a fascinating conversation about the interplay of faith, politics, and social justice. Faith and politics have a complex relationship since the beginning of our nation. The founders of our nation were plainly motivated by their faith, and their faith guided them in different ways in framing such basic assertions as the claim that we are all endowed with inalienable rights. At the same time, the founders were also keenly aware of the danger of identifying the power of government with a particular religious outlook. Many of the founders were descendants of people who had left Europe precisely to escape the established religion of England and to secure to themselves the freedom of conscience. So the founders themselves attached to the Constitution the famous First Amendment that forbids Congress from establishing any religion as the national religion, or abridging the right of citizens to exercise any faith their conscience directs. This so-called separation of church and state is the law and the guiding principle of our land. Nevertheless, even if our government may not establish a religion, religion is never absent from politics. A person of faith, no matter what their tradition, derives from their deepest convictions a sense of what reality is ultimately like, and consequently, a sense of how humans ought to behave. Thus, a person of faith inevitably has very strong convictions about matters of government, ranging from defense to use and protection of natural resources, the laws that secure the rights and dignities of all the members of a community. So the terms religion, faith, politics, and social justice cannot be separated in our nation's conversation. There is, however, a new spiciness to this conversation in the last few weeks, because some conservative commentators have tried to disparage the notion of social justice by declaring that social justice is code language for communism and socialism. I'm so happy to get a small laugh from you about that. But that overwrought and transparent and foolish equation of the concept social justice with those other words is a tempest in a teapot compared to a much more important conversation that we're going to have tonight. There will be opportunity going forward for our two guests to field questions from you, and there will be representatives of the event here in the front row who will from time to time move back and forth in the aisles of the sanctuary. And I believe you have note cards on which you could pose questions to either of our guests. It's hard to imagine two more interesting people to talk with about the theme faith, politics, and social justice. Dr. Marty is among the world's foremost scholars of American religion. He's the author of over 50 books. We were talking just before we came out here, and whatever the tally is, it's about to be that plus 2 more new books forthcoming. A prolific and brilliant commentator, the author of hundreds of articles and columns, and the chief architect of large and ongoing scholarly projects on American fundamentalism and also on American religious pluralism. And we're also joined by Senator John Marty of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party. Something I love to say, the Democratic Farmer Labor Party. He represents a district in Roseville in the Minnesota State Senate. He chairs the Senate Health, Housing, and Family Security Committee. From this position, he has been an advocate, among other things, for the Minnesota Health Plan, a plan that would ensure health coverage for all Minnesotans. He has previously been active in the Senate Environment Committee, and he's authored reforms that reduce the influence of money in Minnesota politics. And, as I think is of special interest to many of you, he's a candidate to serve this state as our next governor. Our format this evening is that each of the two will take a few minutes at the beginning and speak to you in a personal way about the theme, faith, politics, and social justice. And then I will begin to pose questions and feed to them questions from you. So I hope you will join me in welcoming the two for a wonderful conversation.